But welcome to the show. We're doing episode 2 of Catalyst UG. As you can see from the way we address, today we're talking about careers. And there are many questions that are going to come about. I think you're going to be able to know why certain people are addressing the way they are doing.
But yeah, you address the way you address.
Yeah, okay. Can we have that in full outfit? Eh?
Wow.
Yes, I'm just in part.
Mm.
But since I want to pursue law, I think for the whole law thing,
Yeah.
especially I've been dressing.
Oh, yes, tell us about your careers,
I don't want to listen to that.
Oh, you want to hear about it? Oh, guys, as you can clearly see, I don't even need any introduction. Guys already know I'm the professional.
Which guys know?
Which guys?
Guys, you guys are also debatable. Maybe clearly you can see I'm a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which doctor do you want to be?
Yeah, relax. Personally, I'm going to become a cardiothoracic surgeon. Now, that's why I knew you had to say pardon.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's I'm explaining
Cardiothoracic
surgeon. So that's a person in we all know what a surgeon is. Yes. Yeah. But now the area you're dealing in, the area you specialize in is this part of the heart, lungs. So basically the thoracic region of your body.
Yeah, I thought, as far as I could remember, thoracic region, that means thorax.
Yeah.
And thorax is only in insects. As far as I could
Don't
remember.
pain your head, you just allow it. The heart, lungs, this you see this region here?
Yes.
That's a
That is
thoracic
what I'm
region.
going to do.
Okay.
Yes,
Mm.
Are you now
Okay.
content?
Okay.
I think Edube can tell us what are you aspiring for?
So, well, I want to become a businessman.
Yes,
That's
sir.
one.
Business
Money,
where
yeah.
there is the
Yes, you have to look formal, you have to have personal branding, dealing in business. Because that plays a key part in who you are and also how you handle your things.
Yeah.
Then leaving that aside, I also want to be an engineer. That's one.
Yeah.
In business, I want to have, let's say, different business, like say trade, dealing in import and export, more especially I think in goods. Yes, some few services I think I shall also do, but also real estate. I think I shall do that because I think there's a lot of money in that. But leaving money aside,
Yes, sir.
now we are leaving money aside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yes,
I
sir.
feel we should do something to give back to the community because the community does a lot to us.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
upbringing of our lives. We don't really give back, we take it for granted. Though we have our bad days with community days where we get annoyed, where people are not in line with what we have to do. But giving back is always good, and it teaches other people as they grow up that they also need to give back to community, not for self-gain, but for the community that we can be able to develop the country as a whole.
Yeah.
Yes, businessman, engineer, real estate, and also not forget
Philanthropist.
Philanthropy. So my even yes.
No,
Guys engaged everywhere.
Wait, what's the same doctor? It's
So engineering specifically, I think electrical engineering, if all goes well. And then lastly, some nice ball there. You have to play some little football. Whether knowledge football or something, it's still something you do
So-
like part time.
coach should still scout you.
But also let's say in your company or also. I
Yeah, like those things where
believe when
maybe
you start a
companies are
company,
playing
by
with
the way.
themselves. Then
Yes, company having a team.
And-
Yes, you can also do
You'll
that.
be
So
a
yes.
captain, yeah. Yes.
I'd be the what?
I don't know.
It's okay.
You can kick some.
Okay, so Lily, I think
Yes.
guys,
Ask the question.
one of the reasons we started to do our podcast is because we realized Manzi couldn't come to TAF with us, so we had to find an activity that could favor all of us.
Okay. We're doing fine.
But okay, since we're talking about careers, and I think we're going into campus,
Yes, sir.
it's a topic very necessary for discussion, right? Yeah. And some people after results coming out realized, careers are no longer, we're not able to pursue anymore.
Yeah.
So that drives me to the thing of, okay, what does it take to say you're pursuing a certain career, pursuing law, you're pursuing a doctorate and what?
Guys can't even say my career very well.
Man, it has refused you guys. Cardiothoracic
Cardiothoracic,
surgery.
yes.
The
You're a
thorax thing.
businessman and
The
engineer.
thorax thing. Yes.
So, what does it take for us to sit down and say we are pursuing certain careers if at this point in time, some people are already no longer going to be certain things just because of, you name?
Yeah.
The qualification.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think personally now the thing is that UNEP was a real reality check. I think for some people, yeah. Some people their careers have been solidified. Yeah, they actually know that hey, that's what I wanted to do. The points came, they had enough points to do it, so they are actually being said. But for also some group of people, it was a reality check to actually ask themselves, do I really want this? And if I really want this, what am I going to pay? What price am I going to pay? Then for some people, they realize, man, I think this guy doesn't want me as much as I want it. So let me look for my talents elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also something I think that we realize, I think this is now personally for anyone, is that realize what we now got to understand, okay, this is what my career means. Yeah. Now as a doctor, someone told me the doctor from the title. Yeah, and I knew that they had to do medicine at some point. But then what they didn't know is that, man, hey, some people didn't even know that medicine takes 5 years. And that 5 years, well, I recently found out that guys actually don't have holidays as far as medicine is concerned.
Yeah, they go for a recess time.
Yeah.
Even me, I was told,
They don't chill.
Medicine.
They don't
Yeah.
chill.
Tough.
Like they don't chill. Like
But-
for them it's Kalamba. For
guys are going for
But-
holidays,
but
guys
I
are
think-
recess time.
But I think from secondary we clearly see if you are doing biology,
Yeah,
there's no
man,
rest
guys
for you. There's no rest for you.
Rest for the weekend.
guys didn't actually, okay, we didn't actually think that it was going to be
A
like
reality.
that. Yeah, because now I was talking to someone recently, and then they were doing medicine.
I want
Someone,
to.
we can't disclose.
We know that, but it's okay.
Yeah, but they're doing, they're already studied in their
Yeah.
course that they're doing the medicine, and 3 weeks, 4 weeks into the course, they're like, man, I think it's not for me. Yet they have been right from Form 1, we knew.
It was their dream, their goal.
Doctor. They had a doctor alongside them. You know, people who be like, introduce yourself. My name is Doctor. Bro.
That's not
Before
that.
you
Remember
go
this
to
one, but
campus.
that's not that time.
Hopscotch, where you jump to conclusion before you reach there.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
What if it's faith?
Yeah.
Someone has that faith.
there's a faith. Yeah.
Anyways,
which
but
is true.
That drive is actually nice. I don't know
Which
why
is true.
they stopped halfway now.
And that's the thing. Yeah. You know.
Anyway.
3 weeks, 4
The
weeks, I
water
was
is-
like, man, I don't think this is what this is not my feet. This is what I'm supposed. I don't think so. I don't think I can handle this
What is called
pressure.
sacrificing those 8 years.
I don't
you
think
want to
I
get
want
married.
this much. I think I want something else now. So
Yeah.
now that begs two questions. Either are people really serious about their careers, they actually want them, or they just didn't know what it took to become what they wanted to be.
Yeah, I think that's there's that. I think also it comes from the point of view that people don't know what it takes to be certain things, because I didn't know about how. Just say, man, let's keep using medicine. I found myself making more research about medicine than my own career, because someone was explaining it to me how like you have your 1 year 5 years of like school,
Yeah.
and where you have residency.
Yeah.
Is residency part of the 5 years? It's different.
No,
I
it's
thought
so
I
different.
thought it's part because
I
someone
mean-
told me they are 3 years, 40 years of theory, then 3 years of practical.
No, the thing is that okay, now we're going to make it intro to medicine.
Anyway, let's just go there.
But yeah,
yeah.
okay, I think that it's 5 years. Yeah, 5 years you're studying, you're doing everything. Then okay, depends on whether the system that you're in, because Ugandans you're going to go into internship for a whole year before you actually now become qualified as a medical doctor. But if we use now like US, UK, what happens is that you go from medical school, you go into residency. From residency now it depends on what field you're going to now.
If you specialize.
Yeah. What field you're actually going to go in? Are you going into surgery? Are you going into certain kind of medicine like dermatology? What not? So from that you go 3 years, 4 years residency. Then if you're now a surgeon, if you actually want to become a surgeon, you go into a fellowship. It's now like 2 years. 2 years.
So it's like 10 years.
It's like 10 years. There's a huge chunk of your life you spend just learning. Yes, because it's a very, very competitive and difficult field to actually engage in. Yeah.
So when you're an introvert, you think, yeah, I can do medicine. Then you realize, hey, I'm actually an extrovert, man. I can't manage. I need people. Then you guys do another career.
Because it's really draining as far as socially. Really draining. Yeah. But back to what we were saying, yeah, people don't actually know what
What
is entailed
They do, but you know what it entails to
as
be
a
a business.
businessman.
For those things, first and foremost, I believe you're supposed to be sharp. That's the key thing of being a business, you're supposed to be sharp. Secondly, most of the times we're going to compromise our standards. Where you want to benefit yourself, or where you're looking for the escape route. Like the way when you're driving and a fan stops you, where you're violated like a traffic rule. So there is the fine, which is quite big, and then there is
The national language.
the bribe. You get it. So most of the times we try to invent very many things as businessmen and do not be faithful. Okay, man. The people who are above take it in that way, and like you're looking of always how can I survive? How can I be sharp about
Businessmen are
something?
looking for where to make profit.
They're getting it, yes.
By all means.
Taxes, how can I pay the taxes?
Yeah.
I have my guy in URI, I
Yeah.
give him some little money and then this is what happens. But I believe we should not do it in that way. It's difficult, obviously. Like, imagine you paying taxes and you know your neighbor doesn't pay taxes and you want that equality and you're saying, I cannot do it on my own. But there's really that, and setting up business in the rightful way, there's a part of different scenarios.
He said something very important. He said, we really like to criticize guys who drop out.
Yes.
But now, for example, the baby we've been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that we have seen, it has just been a few months
Yep.
in the course,
Mm.
and she has sat down and said, you know what,
It's not for me.
man, this thing is no longer for me, I no longer want to continue.
Yeah.
So do you think many people with dropout stories have that same kind of experience? They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. It was passion that maybe drove them there.
Yeah.
They reached and realized, man, things are actually heavy.
Mm.
So they just quit because they're also rigid, like it was a one-way street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think personally, what happens actually in this kind of situation is that people, right from childhood, you find guys actually
Yeah.
are forced to choose, not forced in a way, but pressured, into choosing, So there are like 4 or 5 major careers that we can think of, engineer, doctor, teacher is not really much of a marketable career in our generation. Okay, yeah, teacher, but they make it now fancy, it's now professor, it's not teacher. Yeah, and we
Good,
look,
right?
yeah,
Professor.
professor,
Not
not teacher
teacher.
anymore. Teacher looks basic.
We'll get you
But,
this hand.
but yeah, so doctor, engineer, professor, what else? So you find that there's a kind of checklist that we have to follow. Yeah. So when you're young, you're pressured into finding out. I have to find something that I can put myself in books.
Mm.
So either it's doctor, engineer, accountant. Also still seems
Yeah,
relevant.
guys,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but business, Sometimes plays in the business world. There's lawyer, like this guy, and so you find a box, So you choose a box, be like, maybe I'm more of a doctor, not a lawyer, because of what you've been able to see, So you put yourself in that box. You're like, I'm going to be a doctor. So every time, ask you, what do you want to go and be a doctor? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor. Not because you even know what it's really about medicine, but you just chose one career. You said, I'm going to go like this, where I'm going to go. So I tell you, okay, what you need to do to become a doctor? BCM, study medicine, enter hospital, start working. So you're like, okay, that's the map I'm going to follow because that's the map that they've given doctors, right? So because you have this roadmap that someone has laid out for you, that has been laid out for doctors, it's what you follow. Even if you're not even really acquainted yourself with what being a doctor means. You just have to choose. Once you chose, became problematic now to again, because now you seem like you're undecided. So you have to become decisive about what you want to do.
Mm.
So we also, I think, it's a way we also become reluctant about actually exploring the fields that we want to be, because I think it's too much. You're being too aggressive.
It's like not too much about what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you do what you have to do for certain level. So if I'm in high school, maybe in high school. If I'm in campus, let me do campus.
So you're saying guys in high school are basically reluctant
to
know more about what they want
about
to do.
what they want to do, because it's not yet, they're not yet there.
Mm.
Do you agree?
That
Guys in high school are like reluctant to know what they want to do. Like guys just say, I want to be an engineer, but to find out what an engineer does, what is needed to be an engineer, I'll do that in campus.
I agree with you guys because I feel like we need to be more practical and on ground. Because there's theory and practical, it's all go hand in hand.
Mm.
But interacting with someone who's then they tell you exactly what they face and telling you should be ready for this and that gives you an idea. So you say if you're going to take a specific combination of subjects in HSC, usually we ask the people who are doing subjects for advice. How is this? maybe what's this? Probably ask the teachers, and we get the advice ahead. But let's see for these other careers at times, because at times we end up choosing careers or taking on careers that our parents wanted to take but never weren't able to. So we are the real
redeemers.
Yes.
Push us where they feel.
Yes, where they fail to go. No, you must be this. I realize you don't see directly, but it's kind of instilled in you that you should take this path.
Yeah,
like you
but
feel like.
from what you said there,
Yes.
do you think also it's our fault? Like it's an argument we're having somewhere, and someone was saying parents are supposed to be supportive.
Yeah.
If I come out and I say I want to be a footballer, a doctor, anything, why don't they support me? And someone else raised the argument of people who are pushed to do things they don't like. Sometimes it's because your parent looks at you and you're not posing yourself to be interested in something. Like you're saying you want to be a doctor, but you're not telling your parent why you want to be a doctor. Or you're not telling them, okay, this is what I need to become a doctor, this is what I expect after 5 years, 8 years. So your parent looks and says, no, for this one, I have to make that decision for them.
Yes,
I have to push, And sometimes parents are doing that because maybe a parent like knows a friend. Your mother knows someone, your dad knows someone. So he says, I want to go and be a businessman, engineer, because I've talked to maybe Manzi's dad. And for him, he did this. Or he also has a son who has done this. And it's working out for them. Even when you come out of campus and you're looking maybe for an internship, they can push you there. So for you, just be like, man, this guy has a point. So don't you think also it's our fault sometimes?
Our fault in a way that we have no direction.
Yeah, so they push us where we don't want.
So may I feel as something somebody in our house really told me. I used to see him like everything. He has a lot on his plate, but everything he always wants to be involved. He wants to be involved. There's an opportunity he wants to be involved. But I used to wonder, like, there's some things you see. Nah, that's not for me. That's not for me. But there are very many things we have where people can say we have hidden talents. But how can you not talent unless you try? So try something and fail. But the key thing is we should take something as I've not failed, I've learned. That's the difference. Because you're going to fail and you're going to feel so embarrassed about something, but you learned something. That's the thing, it's not failing, you've learned something. So I believe the more exposure we have at a young age will be better interacting with these people at an earlier age. But I believe something should happen at a specific age. That's why it's okay. I cannot measure, then the person in baby class can have something else. Person in primary probably says I want to become a teacher because most of her time the only person she seems like a teacher or wants to be something like her dad. Then probably she went to the hospital, saw a doctor. The doctor was really friendly, talking, and it's like, hey, the very many opportunities of being a doctor, become a doctor they choose for you. But I feel like after moving all around, because at times you may think it's your calling or it's your, but you move, when you're actually wise and everything, but you actually cannot. Because one time I remember my mom took me for career guidance before Form 5. I remember even the places I kept the person. But the key thing was asking, what do you like to do? Said he was wise. He did PCB. After PCB, he did some engineering course, and he passed. But you can pass and everything. But when first on ground, the easiest of things, he could do it, but every time he had to call to do it, like someone should remind him, like he couldn't do it off his own. Yes, on his own. Like he had the knowledge, but he couldn't off it. Like that's when you know it's actually not
meant for you.
It's not meant for you. But the issue is we think if we do these things and then work out that we have failed or we have passed time.
No, I think passing time.
You think you've passed time, but the truth is
We are passing time,
yes.
that's the truth.
But also, I think that's what you mean now, like closed-minded, you understand? Because now, there's a way that when we pick a career, we don't want anything outside of that career. We don't want to think about anything outside of that career. If I'm becoming a doctor, I do not want to hear anything to do with engineering. Physics is no longer something that I want to be interested in. So, also from the fear, I think one from the fear of the way we're a little bit close-minded, true also from what you're saying, passing time. They don't want to really pass time in things that we are not going to make a career out of. So why am I involving myself in NDD and acting and stuff like that if I'm actually going to be a doctor? It doesn't make sense. In our heads, until we reach some years down the road and realize, hey, this is a dead end. all the years that you put off every other thing, like this is when you start now getting involved in other things, trying out new things. When you're just 20.
But what I'm saying is you can still do both differently. Now, as you can say, maybe you want to become a doctor.
Yeah.
And you love football.
Yeah.
You're getting it. Those are two things you can join. Nobody will say will wake up and say I want to be part of medical staff of Manchester United or Arsenal. That's not something you can wake up and say I want to be a dream job.
True.
Yes. But I'd say probably those teams have medical facilities where they actually have doctors. So you can align what you love and everything. And then that is what I meant passing time is you can do MD. And then you also want to become a doctor. And you can relate it, so you can sensitize people about disease or something using the skill that you have of MD, probably through singing, through a skit, through a dance. It can be like a song, but it's like an advertisement.
This guy here, I don't know if you follow him on TikTok.
That's
Solomon Chimera.
Yeah, yes.
He's a doctor, but like he does so much work on TikTok that encompasses his doctoring skills.
The guy talks about if you want to be a doctor, don't do this.
No, the guy who wears scrubs.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Is that one? But Solomon Chimera is the guy who did this video. He advertised for dental care. And then there's this chick who his girlfriend didn't have teeth.
Oh Lord.
Then like he goes and works hard, he lays bricks and everything for her, and like takes her to dental care and give her teeth. Then she cheats on him. It's like he does so much. And they interviewed him once. He said he has a degree in medicine and a pharmacy. Imagine, in both medicine and pharmacy. And he was talking about how he uses social media, his ability, like he's an outgoing person.
Yeah.
So he said, I cannot come out and like start telling like people, brush your teeth like this, like people don't listen to that stuff.
Yes.
So he said, you know what, why don't I make use of social media to help my career as well? It will also help me get more market.
Yes.
So I'm understanding what Dube is saying. Like if you have passion for entertainment and you're going into a field maybe of marketing, then it's very easy. Like man, I can entertain people as I'm marketing a particular thing. So yeah, I agree.
But then now I'm going to expose you to some another different reality. So now it's something that I think people now in my field, I don't know, okay, there's something about medicine and biology and stuff like that. The medicine is very complicated. And then while you're in high school, I don't think you don't find people if someone is in BCM, I say someone actually defined that words, but if someone is in BCM and is really like doing like you only have time for your books, so it's a sacrifice kind of thing. And people going to say this in medical school also, that it's a sacrifice kind of thing that you do not have.
But I think
any other thing on your schedule.
As much as medicine is heavy, I agree that I've accepted.
Yeah.
Right from school, you saw what biology guys used to be.
Exactly.
But I think it's also in your mind a bit. You get everyone doing a particular course can say, man, I can't do anything else except this. We saw guys in the arts class who abandoned everything else in school for the sake of books. We had at least those 1-2 people in every combination who abandoned everything for the sake of their books. Yeah. Some it paid off, some it didn't. Yeah. But I may think at the end of the day, as you said, you have people who define their words. Yeah. So I think it's about systems you lay. You get So you have a system that says, I know how to balance this. Yeah. Obviously, we're not talking about relationships like we talked about last time. But I mean, if you're saying, I love this field so much, but I still also want to pursue something else. Because in university, many people start doing businesses. They realize that for like upkeep, but they also have courses. And you can't let that business go because somehow maybe it's your means of survival. Yeah. But your course is also your future. So you just have to find a way of balancing that too.
Yeah, I feel because I've seen this happen where guys try to balance. Example, like example who you couldn't tell me, But example of trying to balance both and it becomes hectic. Yeah. So they find themselves selling their soul to one. Yeah. But then now someone also their soul to like the BCM combination in Form 5 or 6, and then it's not paying off in now it didn't pay off in UNEP, that means now they're stranded. Yeah. They gave their whole life. Okay, not their whole life, just 2 years, man. Guys cannot
But
I think it's 2 years. That's the whole life because you can't go back behind.
You can't go back
2 years behind.
True.
Moving forward. True.
But you gave the entirety of those 2 years into that with the hopes that it will be able to elevate to the next level, but then that has left you stranded. Yeah. So you didn't dab into something else to figure out. In that time when you could have figured out who you are, you were trying to force yourself to become this person. So find themselves stranded now, and they don't have anywhere to go. So you ask yourself now: is there a problem with how we are approaching this?
But you see, when you say stranded, and this maybe is also going to help us a bit. See, someone who has been in a career 2 years can try and say, man, I failed, things are not working out, right?
Yeah.
Someone who has been there 10 years can also say the same.
Yeah.
So who is stranded at the end of the day? Some people are saying they're stranded because, and environmentally,
They can't get
yeah,
university.
like me personally, for the profession I'm going into, people who are there really show at me, man, we may even give you that job, but don't expect to be going and handling cases in court when you've just come out of university.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who have been doing this thing for 15 years plus.
Yeah.
They are more trusted, they have experience. So for you have to start from somewhere when you're in the law firm. Get? And I think many people have that mentality. Okay, there's some careers, by the way, where you can actually come out and do well.
Yeah.
But inevitably, you're going to have to start at a certain level.
Yeah.
And I think that's not something they tell people in high school well enough. Someone believes, since I've done law, I have to come out, I have to be in a law firm, I have to be an associate, I have to go, like, soon in 3 years I'm a partner. No, that's not realistic.
Now that you're brought in now the aspect of realism, being also frank with ourselves, don't you think that we also don't go to really to debate? Do you think also that the way we approach our careers, the way we plan our things, someone tells you that, man, out of high school, like you said, out of high school, when you become 3 years of a partner in law firm, some people have been working for 10 years, that doesn't become a junior associate yet. But people have these expectations, of what they want their careers to look like, not even comparing it with the reality on ground and trying to make sure that the things that they actually want to achieve are feasible. Do you think that's also something now that is going to land us in very many traps? That you're not actually being realistic with how we plan our things?
I feel being
or are we just being too realistic now that we're not going to be?
It's okay with being optimistic. I don't as you relate.
Yeah.
And with being optimistic, you try. And then you learn. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And then another thing is we're going to pursue whatever we want. But the key thing to remember, let's just say it, there's no specific course which is a successful course. Or there's no specific career which will say this is a successful career. Everybody has different opportunities. I may decide to go. You have seen people who are maybe on TikTok and they get more money than any other doctor. That's their career. We've seen people, as you say, the doctors, what you pass and everything, you reach, opportunities are not there. Somebody does some funny course probably here, maybe TV presenter or something, gets successful. So every single thing is actually successful, and people have different, favor, opportunities, chances. So not because he did law and he passed and he got a job, also me within after I finished, it's going to be the same. Yeah. But the key thing to look back is we should never focus on the negative, we should focus on the positive. And also remember, we're not alone. If I'm going to do medicine or if I'm going to do engineering, I shouldn't say if I'm going to do engineering, I should only have engineering friends. I forget you. But if we stay in touch, I may have something, probably in the medicine field that they want to do. Let's say you want to do some disease or something, or you want to sensitize about a disease, but maybe your communication skills are actually poor. Then you communicate to your lawyer friend who's nearby. It's like, oh, no problem. I can sensitize people about it. Talk to the engineer. Maybe you're looking for a solution, how to make a machine. And as a group, we're able to do something where I feel like, no, I need you. But if you think it's you with the fellow doctors, if an opportunity comes, all of you are struggling for that opportunity, or all of you are fighting for that one point. But if we are together, I know probably in my field, I know I can't be an engineer. Maybe I may have forgotten my machines and all that, and I'm not seeing the health hazard. It skipped my mind. You come as a doctor, like, oh no, this it probably it has some different chemicals which will lead to this disease if people do this and that. That's another thing. The lawyer comes, oh, they will sue you for this, you're forgotten too. do that. Have you gone through all that? That's where we need all each of us needs each other.
Effect, yeah.
And like this, opportunities will come about because it's better to get a job. It's better from reference than you going. If your friend says, "Hey, I have this guy," and everything, you're like, okay, fine. That you're not putting enough energy. You just have to prove their word, and all goes well. So I believe we should still be optimistic because I don't know. You never know. I'm taking it for the point of view like hidden talent. Like you can't see talent until you try out. You find, let's say like runners. Some people have been training for endurance. Not saying that you can't train for this, you can, but some people naturally can't run the long distance. And you're like, what have you been doing? And he didn't know because he said, man, sports is not my thing. What? Probably we don't know. Probably yes, you cannot kick a ball. Football is not your thing. Basketball is not your thing. And you find when baseball is your thing, but you thought you weren't a sports person and you're not exposed to baseball. Not very many schools have it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remain optimistic is still good. Like what?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, you know what you're defending.
No, it's fine, man.
But all in all, I believe be optimistic, but the level of optimism should have some reason, man. Don't be F9s throughout. I'm like, you get melodies make feel trust. F9s, we shall do, but yes, there's some people really have that zeal who will keep what. The different thing. Yes.